Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shem Shai, by Shem Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video, Israelite men in their purest state are all misogynist. Now, the word misogynist comes from the word misogyny, and I'll go. Matter of fact, let me go this route. All right, this is the video I came across entitled. This is put up by Drummer 19. He's another, pretty much a Jake that tells on women in general, Jake women and so forth. We got a lot of men that are telling the truth about these women in general. So I just subscribed to him. As you can see, this is the brother right here, Drummer 1980. It says Tariq. The title is Tariq Nasheed. This is terrible advice for women. Ex-corn star, take the C out and put a P there, obviously, said this about black men, which are Israelite men. And that refers to all Israelite men. In our purest state, we are all misogynists. So I don't know if I should let this play. You know how to get down. What I can do is just watch the video. Watch the video. If I remember, I'll put the link in the description. If not, you can watch it. This is put up 14 hours ago. So, okay, I'm gonna show you a picture of this. I gotta go back. All right, so this is a woman by the name. She's Arab descent. She's a porn star. Can't use certain words. Mia K or Mia Khalifa. Now there's another girl, Mia Khalifa, which is a singer out of England. She's of Palestinian descent. Let me do this. I want to show you the pictures of her. I mean, you can go to it. She looks kind of like her. She looked like one of the Latin tribes. I mean, if you put a name in, it will come up. If you go to YouTube, it'll bring you the chick that's a rapper, which is a completely different woman by the same name, but she's a former corn star, and you know what? Okay, so this is her making a statement. They're sex addicts and misogynists. Laugh my ass off. She's talking about Jake. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this. Let me put the closed caption or the subtitles. Let me come back. Okay, right about here. I'm gonna mute it. This is fair use. Out because Mia Khalifa was kind of throwing black men under the bus. This is obvious. Him speaking to Tariq Nasheed. Y'all, some tweets that Mia Khalifa was engaged in, where she was kind of low key throwing black men under the bus. Now, Mia Khalifa is like an Arab. She's like, and a lot of them Arab women, they out there too, if you know what I mean. Like this Arab Middle Eastern corn chick. So I think she retired, and a lot of these saying a little greasy stuff about black folks, meaning black men, Okay, tweet, right. Here's a tweet right here. So this is Azalea Banks, clapping back at her. You don't got to read all this. I mean, you can read it. I'm not going to read it for you. Okay, let me come back. And yes, we are. In our purest state, we are misogynists. David was misogynist when he put away his wife, which was I think I'm pronouncing it right, Micah. That was the daughter of King Saul, and the whole backstory is King Saul told David, if you bring back, I believe it was 100 foreskins of Philistines, then you can have my daughter. And thinking that David was going to die out there because the Philistines were fierce fighters. Now what they did, they would kill the enemy, then they would open up take their trousers off or whatever they had, and they would actually take a knife and they would cut the tip of the penis off and put it in a bag. Hey, they used to do that in the Nam. Edomites and Jake, they would cut off the ears of, you're getting that warlike demon on you. Well, spirit. Let me say spirit, because it wasn't a demon on King David. But he said, look, you got to prove to me that you killed these many guys. And I believe it was 100. Somebody correct me. I'm not going to go to it. And he did that. And when he came back, King Saul had gave his daughter unto another man. It doesn't say whether they had sexual intercourse or not, but I believe they did. It doesn't actually state that. But David he said, here's my 100 foreskins from the Philistines. Where's your daughter? Come to find out, she was with another man, and King Saul had to stick to his vow that he made between men. And he just took his daughter Micah, I think you pronounce her name, and she went home with David. And the husband, the man that she was with, he was crying. So I'm saying, look, they had sex, but guess what? King Saul disannulled the marriage, even though she had sex, which it doesn't say, but she was given to this man. Doesn't go into full detail. If it does, let me know. There's maybe the Book of Yasha. I don't know. But anyway, to show you that David was a misogynist, he danced before the Lord because the Ark of the Covenant was coming in to Bethlehem. Give me the backstory on that. I believe it's Bethlehem or Jerusalem. I can look it up. But anyway, the Ark of the Covenant was the backstory. I believe the Philistines had took it. That's the history. That's why you got to know that history. I hadn't gone through that history in a while, but I vaguely remember the history. Oh, there was a part where the ark was going to fall, and some Israelite wanted to catch it. He was concerned, but he wasn't a Levite, and the Most High took him out on the spot. Anyway, David danced at the fact that he got the Ark of the Covenant. So he danced before the Lord, and I believe the backstory is his trousers had fallen off. And his wife, which is Saul's daughter, she, mocked him, laughed at him and said, look, this motherfucker, look at this damn fucking fool. And it got back to him, and he just cut her off. She didn't have any children. And she was the daughter of King Saul, the first coronated king of Israel. The first king was actually Moses. Moses is the first king, which that's King David coming back. That goes over the head of the Christian world. So King David was the ultimate misogynist. So what's wrong with that? So when I seen this, and okay, so this is her, Maya K, the corn star. She said, she's talking about Jake. Dear sex addicts and misogynists, laugh my ass off, or the whatever. But and then what's her name? Banks. What the hell is her name? Ahelia Banks or whatever. So she was getting. Well, she told the truth. Basically, her experiences was when a Jake get with you, he hit. It's called a hit or quitter. You know, he'll play like he's all in love, and then after he hits you, he's on to the next. So she got mad, and she said maybe she wanted to bag an athlete or something, and he was just about getting it in, and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the Lord said you have a woman that's an Israelite, you got to take your woman, and when you dealt with women of the other nations, you kept the woman in war. You kept the woman of the other nations. They were your concubine. And for a man that's a misogynist well, I'll go into the definition, right? So this is, let me open this up. We don't gotta listen to no more, because Tariq opens it up. So here it is. This is her. It's an Arab freak. All right? They're sex addicts and misogynists. Laugh my ass off. And that's true. That's true, because in the kingdom we're gonna have many, many wives, and we're gonna have a lot of sex, and we are gonna be sex addicts. But we're gonna separate the high holy days, you know, the Sabbath, the high holy days, and so forth. We're not gonna think about it. But during the rest of the week, we're gonna be getting it in with many, many women. And the Most High gonna give us our true power back. So this is my day, Lena, whatever. I've had so many rappers and athletes in my DMs, and none of them have game. Like, do you really talk to women like this? But what do you mean by game? David didn't have no game. He just had game. He just took the woman. And your fathers, Israelite men fathers, and as far as other men, your father would get you a woman. He know what woman you got, what you're gonna get. He'll get the woman. He knows what you. Isaac and Rebecca, when they first met each other the first time, they never saw each other. They didn't know what each other looked like. And they just fell in love. That's an old saying, love at first sight. And that took Isaac, he was in a deep depression because his mother died, Sarah, and his depression was over when he laid with Rebecca. And then his son, Jacob, wound up having 4 wives. King David had many, many wives, and the Lord said, look, about Bathsheba, if you wanted such and such and so, the word is such and such, I would have gave you. Meaning, if you wanted more women, I would have gave you more women. And David had a lot of women. And Solomon had 1,000 women, 700 wives and 300 concubines. So Solomon was getting it in all the time, man. And this is another thing, a part of the curses, right? Ain't no Israelite man should be without having a woman. You know, a lot of us, you got to work to get a woman, or you go between women, and then you get a woman. She's a demon. You get an extra prize with that, a demon. She act all feminine and beautiful. Then all of a sudden, it could be a month. All of a sudden, that demon pop out. And you be like, there's a demon, there's Satan. Everything be going good, and all of a sudden, yo, yeah. Then the demon tell him you can beat this nigga's ass. And many of them tried and many of them failed. Then they'll call the cops. You know, he did this, he did that. The cops don't want to. That's why, hey, when we get this Edomite, I don't know how Esau's gonna make it in the first, like a boxing match, first round knockout. It's gonna be a first round knockout on all Edomites. So the Most High is gonna have to make a lot of Edomites, cause we're gonna be fucking them up. We're gonna be fucking them up. Real talk. Oh, they gonna get fucked up, and they gonna stay getting fucked up. Real talk. All right. So, let me let it play. So I take this as a compliment. I don't know what Nate talking about. You can only have one wife. Well, the man's nature is to have more than one wife. I done had women that I dealt with, that I messed around with other women, and I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. That's the nature of an Israelite man, and that's really the nature of all men. Now I have this book. It's called, I had it for years, Slavery in the Arab World, right? By Murray Gordon, which is an excellent book. And they go into, you got to go to the section, give me a second. This is a very good book. Okay, so this is chapter 4, which is sex and slavery in the Arab world. And now they tell you the number, where is it? Okay, on page 80, the first paragraph, it tells you that, okay, let me just go here. Treated men starkly, demonstrated a master's power over the sexual and reproductive functions of his slaves, of his women slaves, meaning it was a practice that you lay with your slaves, which are also known as concubine, and you would actually have children by them. Israelites would have children by these concubines, and they would be his actual children, because they are Israelites. The marketplace confirmed the high value attached to the sexual aspects of slavery. Eunuchs commanded the highest price among slaves, because what was a eunuch? They would take a man and they would defeat men. They wouldn't kill the men, and they would cut their rods off, and they would train them to take care of their women. They couldn't do nothing because they didn't have nothing to work with. Literally, it says among slaves. Eunuchs commanded the highest prices among slaves, followed by. Listen to this. This is back. It gives you a. Give me a second. This was like the 7th century AD, around there, but it's an ancient practice. It says eunuchs commanded the highest prices among slaves, followed by young and pretty white women. Young and pretty white women, because they wanted Arabs back then. A lot of these Arabs look kind of whitish. So a lot of them passed forward because they were dealing with Edomites, so they liked that color, including Jake. They wanted their children to be a little bit lighter, but that was among the Arabs. But it had to be among the Jakes too. That's why you got Israelites that look like all different nations, because we were dealing with women of other nations. So we were really never super dark. Now the Philistines were always dark because they stayed among their women for the most part. So this is interesting, man. Now let it play. Okay, Mia Khalifa was like, yeah, they're sex addicts and misogynists. That's our true nature. That's our nature. In the kingdom of heaven, there's going to be a lot of sex, because you might want to have 1,000 women. You know, you might want to have 10,000 women. What does Isaiah chapter 60 say? So that's a compliment. That's the true nature of a man. If a man don't like a woman, you got to delete that person. If a woman likes only women, you got to delete them. That's a demon. That's psychologically you're all effed up. You just delete them. You know. Do you rehabilitate them? No, you just delete them. Addicts and misogynists. All right. To take black men, this Mia Khalifa chick, and shout out Mahalia, whatever Banks, Mahalia Banks, whatever her name is, Banks, well, she's a rapper from New York. Of checked her on that, like, hold on, this is Azealia Banks. Says here, an Arab porn star saying black rappers and athletes are sex addicts, which we are. In the kingdom, we're going to be having a lot of sex. And misogynist, which we are, but we're really going to, in our purest state, we're going to be super misogynist. Just screams of racism. Well, she's saying it from a racism thing, but she's telling the truth. Sometimes when you make racist statements, sometimes they're just the truth. What is this guy, Southern the Greek, he had made, this is years ago. There's a sports guy, he did an interview, something the Greek. Is it Jimmy the Greek? And he said how black men perform better than other nations. He was comparing them to white men, and they fired him. I think this is in the 70s, man. And I believe it was Jimmy the Greek. And he made a true statement, and they fired him for him because they said it's a racial statement. Well, yes, when you say this nation is stronger than that nation, that could be taken as a racism, but it's true, and that's proven time and time again. Hey, when you watch the Super Bowl coming up, who's playing? The Eagles, I believe, is Philadelphia against what do you call it? The Chiefs. Most of them are going to be Jake. All right? Most of them are going to be Jake. You have some Edomites in them, but a lot of them Edomites are really Jake. The NBA championships, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, the majority of people on either team, right? They're Jakes. Why? Because they outdo Edomites. Yeah, but there's some Edomites, those Edomites that are playing on a high level, they're really Jake. They just look like Edomites. Like you got a lot of what look like Edomites from Europe. Those people coming from Europe, they went from the European leagues to the American leagues. Them guys are Jakes. They just look like Edomites. And Patrick Mahone, he damn near looked like an Edomite. What does his son look like? What does what's this guy Blake? What's his name? Blake Edwards. He got a Levite father and an Edomite mother, and his son looked just like a straight up Edomite. His son is in his teens right now. So if his son deal with an Edomite woman, that son, the grandson or the great grandson of Blake Griffin's father is crispy black, but his grandson looked just like an Edomite. And I suppose that his grandson's going to get with an Edomite woman, blonde hair, Scandinavian look, and they're going to look blonde hair, blue eyes, look just like an Edomite, but got flavor of a Jake. This is what you don't understand. It says racism and internalized culture, shame. And then this woman, Maya Khalifa, she's from the Arab world, and the Arab men are just like that too. They're more so like that than over here. The Arab world, you got Arab men with many wives, man. And you got to read this book. You got to read this book, Slavery in the Arab World, written by Murray Gordon. And they were and them Ishmaelites, they were deeper into slavery. Esau really learned slavery, chattel slavery, from them Arabs, man, because that's a Middle Eastern practice. Because we would put people in slavery, or we would kill the men and save the women. And we would save the women to have sex with them, and we would have children with them women. I said that in the video. So are we going to have other women in the kingdom and have babies with them? Yeah, that's possible, because we can do it now, unless the Most High writes a new law. Now, why would he write a new law if he said the old law, you can have women of other nations and you can pop them, and you can have children with them? Was it Gideon, and there was others that had many women from concubines, and that's in the scriptures. It says, I haven't really read any scriptures, but I've been quoting scriptures. Someone in her family definitely called her a N lover. Now rappers, and she figured, she figured she can bag an athlete, but they just hit it and quit it, cause they can't. Hey, them guys, them athletes, they're in tip top shape, man. Their adrenaline is always up. Their testosterone is always up by the supplements that they take, by the training that they take. So they're really like Supermen, like Supermen. Jake is a Superman. You know how many Edomite women that's dealing with Jake on the down low and openly dealing with Jake and fantasize about Jake? So that's the first signs of you losing your kingdom, when a man supposed to be under you takes your woman. That's it. Now, rappers and athletes specifically are sex addicts and misogynists. Laugh my ass off. Well, they are. You have a higher, when your testosterone is up, you have a higher sexual appetite. A sexual appetite. And then they move on to the next. Hey, Tiger Woods did that. The reason why his beautiful white wife left him is because he was going through these women, man. He would get them, and he would take them to Wendy's, buy him a Happy Meal or whatever, McDonald's, and get out of here the next. Because he was an addict. He was an addict for sex, because he's an Israelite, Now let me come over here and let me just give you the meaning. What's wrong with being a misogynist? Male chauvinist. What's wrong with being a male chauvinist, right? Misogyny, right? Misogyny is hatred of contempt for or prejudice against women or girls. Prejudice meaning you are at a certain level. You're below me. That's how all true Jake men think, and men in general. It is a form of sexism that can keep women at a lower social status. What is a woman at a lower social status in Israel, in the law? A concubine. Than men. And that's your woman too. Women are lower than men, thus maintaining the social roles of patriarchy. Right? Patriarchy is a social system in which positions of authority are primarily held by men. You don't got to read the rest of it, right? Misogyny has been a widely practiced for thousands of years. It is reflected in art, literature, human social structure, historical events, mythology, philosophy, and religion. Because the Arabs practice that too. So this girl, Maya Khalifa, She came out of a culture of misogynistic men. Now it says violence against women, domestic violence, misogynist terrorism, and femicide, meaning the killing of your woman. And the Arabs did that too. Misogyny also often operates through sexual harassment. You know, you can be talking, how you doing, baby? You know, and she'll take it as sexual harassment. Hey, this is why Jake men, they don't want to stay clear from the so-called black woman, because she's not it. She's definitely not it. Coercion and psychological techniques. Right, psychological techniques meaning you got game. You putting game on a woman, aimed at controlling women, and look, you paying for every goddamn thing. And by legally or socially excluding women from full citizenship. You're really not a citizen. That's why when a Hebrew, Israelite man sells his daughter to another Israelite man, if the man purchases her, he can say you're just going to be a slave forever. You can never be free or servant. But if he falls in love with the woman or gives the woman a Israelite servant to a son, then a status comes up. She's the status of a wife. They showed you that in the movie 12 Years a Slave. You had this black woman that she was a mistress of that plantation, because I guess her Edomite husband died, and that happened too. So she got the status of a master or a mistress. In some cases, misogyny rewards women for accepting an inferior status. And that's how it's going to be. That's why the 12, none of them were women. You know? That's why this society, this nation right here is backwards. That's why it's called Babylon, which means confusion. Which means confusion. Okay, give me a second now. You know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. So some of you guys that be, watching these films. Wait a minute. That's a word for misogynist. Okay, this is her. Yeah, cute woman. Look like one of the Latin tribes, but she's actually an Arab. And she was a corn star. Not to be mistaken for the rapper, the singer out of Palestine. So she was kind of hoping that a Jake, she'd bag an athlete or something, or a rapper. But what she found out, they just hit it a couple of times and they move on. Okay. Give me a second. Let me do this here. Let me give you a precept or two. Concubine. Let me look up concubine, then concubines. They're also known as concubines are also known as paramours. Paramour. Paramour. Amor meaning love, and para mean through love. A paramour. Okay, 22 times. Okay, Genesis, first time, Genesis 22:24, and his concubine whose name was Reuma, she bare him. I got to open this up. Not really. Genesis 35:22, and it came to pass when Israel dwelt in the land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine. When Israel heard it, now the sons of Jacob are 12. Reuben was the firstborn. He was supposed to be the head tribe. He lost it. Then you had Levi through Moses. Then you had Ephraim through Joshua, Yahushai. Then it ultimately went to Judah. Judah is the head tribe. And Timah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's Esau's son. So even the Edomites practiced concubinism. Judges 8:31, and his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son whose name was called Abimelech. Let me open this up. Then I'm gonna close. Let me get the context right here. Right, I mentioned Gideon, right? And Gideon, the son of, okay. And Gideon had 70 sons, 70 is 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. And who's Gideon, the Israelite, and his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son whose name was called Abimelech. So that showed you that Israelite men had women of the other nations, and they got them pregnant, and the sons came into the order of Israel because they knew that your genealogy is based upon what your father is. These small hats, they say, is based upon your mother. That's another proof that they're not the people. That's another question to ask the Christians. They say it's a well-known fact that a real J is someone whose mother, not if the father's a J and the mother's an Italian, they're not really a J, or they have a J, which that goes contrary to the scriptures. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next shalom.